Hey everyone, happy March. I'm sure that we're all excited that spring is around the corner. I think on Groundhog Day they said 6 more weeks of winter, but I haven't really seen it. The weather's been nice. And the market has been on fire. I'm just actually surprised that it's even better than I thought it was going to be. Last month when I went through the January stats, it was pretty impressive. And I knew February was going to be strong. I didn't realize it was going to be this strong. So if you take a look at the detached housing market in Calgary for the month of February, you can see that we just went right into a seller's market. I mean, 58.28% of the detached houses listed, they all sold. I mean, compare that to year over year. I mean, here we are, 58.26%. A year ago, we were at 25.96%. I mean, that is a dramatic increase year over year to consider where we've come. It's hard to really understand all of the reasons why this is happening, but there's no question that the interest rates are playing a major role in this. And I think the sheer amount of people who are working from home, so everyone is taking advantage. But I think interest rates are the really big driving force. And there just seems to be a little bit more optimism coming into the spring too. You'll notice, though, that our benchmark price has also gone up. Benchmark price is at 502.5. A year ago was at 479.100. So that's also a really significant increase. So whenever you have a situation like this where you have such a high demand of houses selling, you're going to see prices starting to rise, and they are starting to rise. So this puts it into perspective a little bit more. There's 1,927 houses listed, 1,123 of them sold. And so you can see that the inventory right here at 1927, compare that to a year ago, it was 2,639. So we have a shortage of inventory and a really high demand. I mean, with the amount of detached houses we sold in February, that rivaled July of 2020, where normally July is a really strong month. Here we are in February having numbers like July. So that's a really strong demand. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens as we come further into the spring as to how many more people will put their house on the market. That's where it's going to get interesting, because there's a lot of people right now that bought in 2014, 2015 that wanted to sell last year, or even they wanted to sell in 2019, and they weren't able to because their price value had dropped. And a lot of those people decided to just wait until the market got better. And I think with the price increases, some of these people will probably now say, okay, I can sell my house. I can now get the price out of it that I'm looking for. So if you are one of those people, you should reach out to me, because you just might be in a much, much better position today than you were a couple years ago. So if you did buy at the peak of the market, this could be a really good time. And look at the days on market. I mean, they dropped down to 37 days. A year ago, they were at 53. I'm seeing multiple offers right now on real estate that's priced aggressively. We are seeing a lot of asking price offers, especially in the price range of, say, 300 to 600,000. We're seeing a lot of that. So like I said, just a lot of demand, so it makes it interesting. But please keep in mind, it doesn't mean that every house is going to sell at the asking or above, of course. And it also means you don't want to ignore still getting your house ready to sell, which I'm going to comment on that in just a few minutes into this video. Here's the overall market distribution. And you can see how things are shifting. The 300 to 400,000, if you went back to a year ago, this was a lot higher percentage. Now the 4 to 5 has taken the #1 spot. And that's what happens as prices are rising, and these low interest rates are certainly giving a lot of people the comfort and the confidence of stepping up into that 400 to 500 range. So that's where the majority of the buyers clearly are. I mean, almost 29% of the market. But look at even the 5 to 600, 23.29%. That's really strong, like really strong. And, it's kind of like the tide coming in. It's lifting all the boats. So even this 6 to 700 is at 9.33%. And I think a year ago we were down around 6%. So, it's allowing a lot of these people that own homes in the 500, they can even now comfortably move up into maybe a larger home, or maybe they want to get into a different community that they've always wanted to get into. It's allowing for that. So this whole thing is moving. That's why it feels like the tide has come in. But here's again the big market I always look at, that 1 million to 1.5. This luxury market here, 4.58% of the market. Remember in 2014, which was our peak, this was at 5%. So far this year, we're at 4.58%. So if this continues, we could end up seeing the luxury market hit over 5% in the 1 million to 1.5. So these are all really good numbers. Of course, the big question is, will it last? I wish I had the crystal ball on that one. I really don't know. I am definitely, as I said earlier, wondering if, the spring comes and a lot more houses come on the market, if that might settle down this high demand. That's just yet to be seen. Well, we won't know until it starts to unfold. If we move into the townhouse / attached real estate market, even this is a dramatic increase, 38.08%. This was down around 17% not very long ago, right? I mean, year over year, last year in February was at 21.29%. To go to 38%, also, again, as I said, it's lifting all the boats. So this is just a complete turnaround. The benchmark price now at 398,300. That's also positive. That's from 384,800 a year ago. So that's also moving in the right direction that you want it to go. If you take a look at right here for 2021, you can just see what a dramatic increase, on year over year, just 39.84% for year over year in sales volume compared to last year. That's just something I haven't seen. I'm still kind of looking at these numbers going, wow, I'm just kind of get my head around what's happening here. Let's move into the apartment condos. This market, thankfully, is finally starting to move. We've waited for this for a long time. I've wondered if this condo market was ever going to come alive, but it's actually starting to come alive. 441 properties out of 1,158 listed. Look at this. From a year ago, there was only 303 properties that sold last February with 1,423 listings. So we've got 141 transactions more, and we have a lot lower inventory. That's also starting to cause prices to rise a little bit. And you can see it right here in the market distribution. The 300 to 400,000 range was a little bit lower recently than the 200 to 300,000 range. So suddenly this is now first place at 30.74%. So this is really positive. And the big thing is you can also look at the $700,000 to $800,000 price range is starting to move too. I listed a property in Banff Trail on an attached property for $839,000, and they tried all last year to sell it with another agent. I took over the listing in January and I sold it in February. And of course I look like the hero. And maybe there was a few things I did that was a little better and different than the other agent, but I have to say the market certainly helped me as well. It's hard to say whether I would have been successful last year too, but a little bit of help from the strength of the market with some good key things. One thing I did do there, I took some better photography. I did get the seller to do a lot of little things. We did some painting touches up, just overall made the property look a little better, and it worked. In fact, I even got another good success story for you too. In Mindapore, just 2 weeks ago, I had a little split level for sale, and it was tenant occupied. So, it really needed a paint job. The closet doors were broken, you know, and it was kind of dirty inside. And of course, the seller just wanted to get it sold because the tenants were now out of the property. It was vacant. It was costing them money. So they really wanted to move it. But I said, look, if you really want to maximize your sale price and sell quick, even though it's a hot market, we should do a little work in here. And they agreed to my advice. And I'm so glad they did. We had it all painted, fixed all the closet doors, got it all cleaned up. What a difference it made. Anyway, we put it on the market for $375,000. Would you believe I sold it for $390,000, $15,000 over the ask price. It cost us just, I think it was $4,500 to do all of the work. So they're tickled pink. I was just amazed that we got, you know, that much of a return. They'd be the first to tell you that a little bit of money into a property, even in a hot market, can give you an extra 10 grand, and it can help sell the property that much quicker. So that kind of thing does work. Anyway, here's going back to condos. 264,000 is the benchmark price, and or sorry, 246,400. That is relatively the same as last year at 244,700. And you can see the absorption rate is at 18.98% compared to 14.59%. So everything's going in the right direction. This is an exciting time. I really think if you want to sell, this is the right time to be talking to me and take a good look at what your options are. No question, there are some properties that are a much higher demand than others. There are some neighborhoods in Calgary that are having a much higher demand than others. That's something I can give you a little bit of advice on. But all in all, if you pay attention to getting your property ready, market it properly, in this market, you're going to have a lot of success. On the flip side, if you're a buyer, of course, the buyers may be thinking, wow, is this really the right time? Well, when you can get interest rates around 1.5%, this is unprecedented. I would say you couldn't ask for better. This is a great time. I mean, even these low interest rates, you can pay your mortgage off that much quicker. If you can see just how much goes to your principal every time you make a payment, you're paying off your mortgage that much quicker. So all in all, this is really a great time for buyers and sellers. So it's going to be an awesome spring. Wait until next month, because I think March, the way it's going, it's going to even be stronger than February. So hope to hear from you. And if you're not quite ready to do anything now, then maybe we will take a look at the market next month. See you then.